It was just before 3 p.m. yesterday when our officers with York Regional Police were called to the residence that you see behind me here on Castlemore Avenue in Markham. It's just east of Mingay Avenue, for a report that there were possibly multiple people injured inside the residence. When our officers arrived, they did find a man at the front door of the residence. That man was taken into custody and has been held in custody ever since. Shortly after that, our officers did go inside the residence, and that's where they located the bodies of 4 people, all deceased. I can tell you that those people were not transported to hospital. They were all deceased at the scene. Last night was a very active and ongoing investigation inside the house. The coroner did attend, as well as officers from our forensic identification unit. I can tell you that this scene is going to be held for quite some time, as there's a lot of work for our forensic identification to be doing inside the residence here. I'd also like to update at this time that the man that we do have in custody has now been charged. He's 23-year-old Menhaz Zaman. Last name is spelled Z-A-M-A-N. 23 years old, from the city of Markham, now facing 4 charges of first-degree murder. He has appeared in court this morning, and you can get any updates that you can from the courts from there. I can also tell you that the identification process for the deceased is going to take quite some time, as postmortems need to be done by the coroner. Once those postmortems are complete, we'll be able to advise who the deceased are, but at this point in time I can tell you that there's 3 adult women and 1 adult man, all deceased. That's pretty much it that we have for the update so far. We are not looking for any further suspects in this case at this time. We do believe that the man we have in custody that's now been charged is responsible for these murders and now facing 4 charges of first-degree murder. We want to reassure the community that York Regional Police has been here throughout the night, been here ever since we got that report, and I can guarantee that this community is very concerned. There were 200 plus people out last night when I was here at the scene, and we want to reassure them that we do have this person in custody. He's now facing charges, and if anyone needs any sort of emotional support or help dealing with this very traumatic event, we'd urge them to seek that help and support that they might need.
And can you tell us if the suspect has any relation to the
At this point in time, until we have the identification done with the coroner, we're not providing any information on any sort of relationships. We need to get that identification process done. Once we have that, we can then provide you with a little bit more information. But I also want to remind everybody this is now a case before the courts. It's 4 charges of first-degree murder, obviously the most serious offenses in this country. So as far as information at this point in time coming out, we're going to be very limited in what we can provide, as most of that is now evidence before the courts.
What were the injuries sustained by the people and ultimately the cause of death?
As far as the injuries go, we're not providing that information. Cause of death as well, we can't provide until the coroner has completed the post-mortem. So other than to say that when our officers did enter the house, all 4 people were deceased. They were not transported to hospital suffering from injuries. They were all deceased inside the residence.
Can you just tell us if did the suspect live in the house or live in the basement of the house?
We're not providing any information on where the suspect resided or where that suspect was from, other than to say the man charged is from the city of Markham.
Where did the first call come from, maybe? From inside the house?
Yeah, we're not providing details on where that first call came from at this point in time, other than to say that the report that we had received was that there may be multiple people possibly injured inside the residence. That's the call that we responded to. And then when we got to the front door of the house, that's where we confronted the man, that 23-year-old man who's now in custody. And then officers went inside and found the bodies of the deceased people.
So then, criminal record or any interaction with this individual before?
We don't provide any information on any sort of background if he was involved with police prior to. Yeah, his first name is spelled M-E-N-H-A-Z. Last name Zaman, Z-A-M-A-N, 23 years old, from the city of Markham.
So was he taken into custody before officers even went into the home, or was it after officers went into the home and he was still at the front door and they took him into custody?
Yeah, the accused was taken into custody when officers got here to the scene. They confronted him at the front door. He was taken into custody. Then officers went inside from there.
Was there anyone else inside the house at the time?
I'm not aware if there was anybody else inside the house at the time.
Would officers have showed up here kind of like weapons drawn kind of thing when they showed because of the call?
Yeah, I'm unsure of what the response actually was, other than the report of 4 people possibly injured. Numerous officers were here at the scene when they took that man into custody, then obviously significant police presence following that.
Do you have a timeline of when the 911 call was received, when the police responded?
I don't have that timeline available at this point in time, other than to say that it was just before 3 p.m. that we received that report of 4 people possibly injured inside. We're not giving out the relationship at this point in time, as we have to wait until the postmortems are done to confirm identity of those deceased. We don't give any prior history out about the residents.
Police on duty overnight had said that this was a welfare protection call. That that's the case?
The call type, I'm not sure exactly what the call type was, and a call type is what our officers would be responding to. Other than to say the information our officers were given was that there was multiple people possibly injured inside the residence. That's what we were responding to.
Andy, there's some details floating around that maybe suspect posted what he intends to do on some sort of online forum, some fake gaming forum. Do you know anything?
You know, there's lots of information that's not available at this point in time, and like I mentioned, this is a case now before the courts, 4 counts of first-degree murder, so any sort of evidentiary information is something that we're not going to be able to provide at this point in time.
Do you know if there's this family that has extended family, if they've been notified or anything?
I don't know if there's been any next of kin notification at this point. That's all I have for now. Thank you very much.